In February 1855, a heavy snowfall blanketed Devon, but by morning, something had crossed the countryside, leaving behind a trail no one could explain. Residents of Exmouth woke to find strange hoof-shaped prints in the snow, stretching for miles across fields and fences. What puzzled them most was the arrangement. A single-file line of prints, perfectly spaced, with no evidence of a companion or animal trail. The trail didn't stop at walls or fences. Some prints appeared to cross rivers, climb over rooftops, and even traverse haystacks. Within hours, similar tracks were reported in Dawlish, Teignmouth, and other nearby villages, stretching the mystery across dozens of miles. Villagers described the prints as cloven-hoofed, about 4 to 5 inches long, perfectly spaced, and completely unlike any known animal. The footprints defied logic. They crossed stone walls, fences, and frozen streams, as if some creature could fly or leap impossibly far. Some witnesses claimed they saw the prints on rooftops, as though the strange visitor had walked above the ground itself. Fear spread quickly. Villagers barred doors, gathered in churches, and whispered that the devil himself had passed through. Newspapers across England carried the story. People were fascinated, alarmed, and puzzled. No one had an explanation. Locals recalled waking to find their rooftops and fields marked by strange hoof-like impressions, stretching for miles across the countryside. The prints seemed to ignore obstacles. Walls, rivers, and hedges were crossed with impossible precision. Theories abounded, from escaped animals to the supernatural. None could explain the uniformity and spacing of the tracks. Newspapers of the time published urgent warnings, fueling public fear and speculation across the county. Even skeptics were confounded. Scientists, farmers, and officials could find no natural explanation for the phenomenon. Some tracks vanished mysteriously, only to reappear miles away, as if the creator had leapt across the landscape. Reports varied. Some said the prints were tiny, others claimed enormous, but all agreed they were cloven-hoofed and single-file. Farmers found their livestock untouched, yet the footprints seemed to pass right through their property without explanation. The mystery captured the imagination of writers and pamphleteers, turning the devil's footprints into a sensation. People speculated about spirits, escaped animals, or even divine punishment, but no one could prove the cause. By the end of February, the trail had reportedly stretched over 40 miles, crossing dozens of towns and fields. No creature could account for the footprints, perfect spacing, single-file alignment, or ability to cross obstacles. 19th-century newspaper headlines and illustrations about devil's footprints. Sepia tone, dramatic historical style. Despite skepticism from scientists and officials, the mystery endured. Nobody could replicate or explain the trail. To this day, the devil's footprints remain one of Britain's most enduring unsolved mysteries, inspiring books, articles, and folklore. Many suggested the prints were made by animals, hares, badgers, or even escaped kangaroos, but none matched the trail's single-file continuity. Others proposed humans had created a hoax, dragging carved wooden shapes through the snow overnight. Yet the prints' ability to cross rooftops, rivers, and fences seemed impossible for any prankster. Scientists of the time examined the prints and were left baffled. There was no natural explanation for the phenomenon. Even today, modern researchers remain intrigued, debating whether it was an unknown animal, a weather anomaly, or something more mysterious. The mysterious prints quickly entered local folklore, earning the chilling name, the Devil's Footprints. Stories spread through newspapers, pamphlets, and word of mouth, captivating the public across England. People speculated wildly. Some claimed the devil had walked across the land to punish sinners. Others thought it was a warning, a sign, or an omen, sparking fear in remote villages. Even children were warned to stay indoors, and the tale of the devil's footprints became part of Devon's storytelling tradition. In the years that followed, researchers and historians examined the event, trying to uncover a scientific explanation. Some suggested weather anomalies or snowmelt patterns could create unusual impressions, but these theories failed to explain the footprints' continuity. Others looked at animal behavior, yet no known species could create evenly spaced, single-file prints over rooftops, rivers, and fences. The hoax theory remains plausible, but the scale and precision of the trail make it highly unlikely to have been fabricated overnight. Even today, the Devil's footprints are cited in scientific papers, folklore studies, and paranormal discussions as one of England's most puzzling mysteries. What makes the Devil's footprints endure is not just how strange they were, but how many explanations failed to fully account for them. Natural causes explain fragments, hoaxes explain intent, but none explain how a single trail crossed miles of terrain without breaking. Unlike many mysteries, this one wasn't confined to a single witness. Entire communities woke to the same impossible sight. Over time, the story shifted from fear to folklore, but the original reports remain, unchanged, waiting to be explained. Whether animal, prank, phenomenon, or something stranger, the Devil's footprints of 1855 still walk through history unanswered. No physical evidence survives today, only testimony, sketches, measurements, and the silence left behind when the snow melted. What matters isn't whether the answer is supernatural, but that for one night, the ordinary rules of explanation failed. The Devil's footprints remind us that history is not just made of facts, but of moments that refuse to resolve. Some mysteries fade because they are solved. Others endure because they shouldn't have happened at all. On a February morning in 1855, something walked across Devon, and whatever it was, it never came back.